Reports of missing tax refunds, how scammers got away with stealing money, and what happened when the victims tried to call to get their money back. Plus, reaching new heights, how one Southern California man climbed to break a world record. You're watching The Rundown. I'm Michelle Valles, in for Robin Winston. More on those stories in just a moment, but first, a landslide put homes in the Hollywood Hills in danger. Dirt and large rocks crashed into homes on Flicker Way. 3 of them now red tagged, meaning it's not safe to go inside. Unfortunately, the hillside has not stopped moving, and there's concern that Sunday's spring storm could do more damage to the hills that are already saturated. We saw hail, thunderstorms, and quick bursts of rain. In fact, it caught some people in Eagle Rock off guard.
The skies were clear, and all of a sudden you see all these dark clouds coming in, and then it was hailing really bad.
And take a look at this, a dramatic rescue in the LA River. A woman got caught up in the fast-moving water. It was only knee-deep, but the rushing water swept her away. Firefighters on a helicopter lowered a rescuer down. They pulled her up and pulled her to safety. Passenger rail service has resumed on both Metrolink and Amtrak trains through San Clemente. This is after a 2-month closure. A landslide halted train service and damaged a bridge back in January. Crews have been building a 200-foot-long retaining wall to protect the tracks. A severe solar storm happening right now is beginning to weaken a bit. While we shouldn't experience any major disruptions on Earth, it could make for great aurora viewing for our neighbors to the north. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, tracked an outburst of plasma from a solar flare. NOAA says there's no reason for the public to be concerned. However, people living in Alaska and Canada are likely to see the northern lights, even as far south as North Dakota, Michigan, and Wisconsin. But it likely won't reach California. However, a similarly strong storm last year did produce auroras in the northern part of the state. Let's see how your week looks in the weather department. Here's meteorologist Belen de Leon.
Hi, everybody. Here's what I'm tracking for this last week of March. We're drying out and the sunshine's returning. It'll remain breezy in spots. Now, as far as the temperatures go, by the middle of the week, we're seeing the numbers warm into the 70s. Now, we're going to be dry for a few days, but as we close out the month of March this weekend and get ready for Easter, there's a storm that could bring us some rain and even colder temperatures. For example, look at the trend in Los Angeles, where we have temperatures in the low 60s at the start of the week and then milder for Wednesday. After that, the temperatures start coming back down. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at highs in the 50s. That's because we're looking at rain. So you see the chance of rain dry for the first part of the week. The chance of rain starts going up a little Thursday, more on Friday, and this weekend. That holiday weekend is looking chilly and soggy. Stay tuned.
Could be a soggy Easter. The deadline is here for former President Trump. He must secure a $454 million bond or risk having his property seized. The bond covers the court's civil fraud judgment against him, which Trump's attorney says cannot be done. But if that's the case, New York's Attorney General has the power to freeze his bank accounts and seize some of his properties. Those include his penthouse at Trump Tower, his Wall Street office building, and golf courses.
This is not some immediate process where Tish James is going to walk into 40 Wall Street on Tuesday and change the locks or something like that.
The former president has called the case against him election interference. He is asking a state appeals court to allow him to post a smaller bond or none at all, claiming he would face irreparable harm. An update on a series of burglaries in Orange County that we've been reporting on. Police in Irvine say they've arrested 3 men in connection with the case. Investigators arrested the men over the weekend while officers there conducted surveillance in the neighborhoods that were recently targeted. Officers say they found burglary tools, including shoe covers, gloves, and masks. Police say the 3 men are from Chile. If you're getting ready to hit the road for a spring break, lucky you, but prepare yourself for elevated prices at the pump. Right now, drivers in LA, Orange, and Ventura counties are paying more than $5 a gallon for regular. It's about $4.93 in Riverside and San Bernardino counties, and those numbers are up about 8 cents since last week. The jump in prices is being fueled by the rising costs of crude oil and increased demand. And things should only get pricier in a few weeks. California will do the switchover to the summer blend of gas, which could tack on another 15 to 20 cents a gallon. The I-Team has heard from many of you who say you never got your middle-class tax refund because scammers stole the money before it got to you. Then when they tried to get in touch with the company in charge of the program, those folks say they could never get through. So now a new audit reveals that the company failed to answer hundreds of calls. In fact, hundreds of thousands of calls. And despite that, the state handled the unemployment benefits. As Carolyn Johnson reports, that's a move that is concerning to some.
We first introduced you to the stand-up comic last fall.
Do you ever think you're not that smart? One day you're talking to somebody in 5 minutes time compared to them, you realize you're a freaking genius. Right, married people?
Pete George told us trying to get his middle-class tax refund was no joke. His debit card, loaded with $350, never came. He eventually learned a scammer had stolen the card and drained the funds at a nearby ATM.
I just don't like people getting away with things like this or companies getting away with it.
Same thing happened to Jay Ryan.
If it was stolen out of the mail, of course it was used. That's why criminals steal cards.
The I-Team heard from dozens of people with the same problem, and they say trying to reach someone at Money Network, the company the state hired to run the program, was nearly impossible.
I think one time I waited an hour and a half.
And hundreds of thousands of others may have had the same problem. The state auditor released a report saying Money Network failed to answer 900,000 of the 2 million calls from residents who wanted to speak with an agent about the program or problems with their cards. And because of that, the auditor said it's impossible to track how much fraud occurred, even though, per its $25 million contract with the state, Money Network was supposed to limit the rate of fraud to 1%.
Well, it's clearly a failure, and it's not a good grade.
Assemblymember Tom Lackey isn't happy with the audit results. He wants more accountability, especially since the state just signed another $32 million contract with Money Network to handle unemployment benefits, or EDD.
We should have accountability piece in the contract that says that they're going to respond better than they did in the past. And these are accountability measures that aren't rocket science.
EDD told the I-Team things are different under this new contract. For starters, it's requiring Money Network to operate call centers 24/7. And 80% of the calls must be answered within 30 seconds. The debit cards will also contain a chip, something that hasn't been done in the past, which will make them harder for scammers to hack and should reduce fraud.
Total fraud is hard to eliminate, but we should clearly do a more responsible job in reacting to the problem.
In response to the audit, Money Network noted the auditor said it generally followed certain best practices for fraud risk management. Money Network also said it absorbed the cost of fraud. The Franchise Tax Board, the agency in charge of the middle-class tax refund, had this to say about the audit. We concur there are important lessons to be learned for any future large-scale financial relief programs.
Most viewers who reached out to the I-Team about problems with their middle-class tax refund did get their money back after we got involved, but not everyone has used their cards. According to the audit report, more than 1 million debit cards worth approximately $611 million haven't been activated yet. The audit did point out that the state and Money Network did a good job distributing the money quickly. If you'd like to read the audit yourself and the state's response to it, we have a link at our website, NBCLA.com. Ahead of Easter, local animal shelters are advising people not to buy rabbits as holiday gifts. I know they're very cute, but they say they have seen too many families abandon the animals because they weren't quite prepared to care for the pets. Rabbits are reportedly the third most surrendered animal at shelters. PETA says 80% of them bought for Easter will die or be abandoned within the first year. The organization recommends opting for a stuffed animal in Easter baskets instead. For the first time ever, the world-famous TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood is now going to serve Chinese food to its moviegoers. The theater gave us this video from a very special ribbon-cutting ceremony over the weekend outside the theater. The concession stand will serve a small Cantonese dim sum menu, created by Chef Tony. The internationally acclaimed dim sum master's menu will include 3 combo platters, including a plant-based option.
So the menu is kind of experimental right now. We have siu mai, char siu, pork bun for now, but there's also innovation that will be coming in. We will continue to adjust our menu.
And this is so exciting. Ticket holders can eat the dim sum at their seat, along with popcorn and other movie theater snacks. But snack food has never been allowed before inside the theater, so this is the first time. Also, some exciting news for some students in the San Fernando Valley. El Camino Real Charter High School won the California Academic Decathlon, and they're going to represent the state in the national competition in Pennsylvania next month. The school posted this picture of the champions. It's their 3rd state victory in 5 years. It's become a habit. The competition showcases their knowledge in a variety of subjects, including math, science, literature, art, music, economics, and much more. Congratulations to them and good luck at the national competition. There was also a lot of fun on the field for girls in Torrance. The LA Rams hosted their inaugural Girls Flag Spring Classic at El Camino College Sunday. Hundreds of participants competed in several flag football tournaments. There were games for high school students and also clinics for the younger girls.
So roughly about 45 teams, a little bit over 530 girls, just competing to celebrate Women's History Month and grow the game of girls flag football.
Families also had a chance to take pictures with the Rams cheerleaders and the team mascot. There was even an Easter egg hunt. There's a new record in the world of rock climbing, and it happened right here in Southern California. Brian Whitmer broke the record of most feet climbed in an hour. The big accomplishment happened over the weekend at Top Out Climbing Gym over in Santa Clarita. Brian climbed 3,648 feet in 1 hour, breaking the previous record by more than 300 feet. So now he's waiting for word from Guinness World Records to give him the official title, and that process could take a few weeks. You can always get the news and weather updates on the NBCLA app and at our website, NBCLA.com. Thanks for watching The Rundown.